Because I paint with primarily like wildfire charcoal and earth pigments that I collect myself, it really does reflect like my love of dirt, but also my love for all the places that these pigments come from. And also it reflects all of my journeys and displacement or life places that I've lived or been to as a Native Hawaiian who is also kind of based between the continent here and back home in Hawaii. So like a lot of pretty much all my reds that I use now and my burgundies and purples come from back home in Hawaii. But a lot of the blacks come from like wildfires in Oregon, where I was born, or some of the recent wildfires a few years ago here in New Mexico. And so because I'm not like buying my pigments from like a store, I know exactly where they come from. I can look at a certain color and remember that specific day that I gathered that one color, or who I was with, or even what the weather was like. And you don't like really set out to remember these things, but they just become ingrained in who you are and the story of gathering these materials in a responsible way. And all of those memories, I feel like, become imprinted in the materials or in the pieces that you end up making. And so maybe it might not be visible to many other people, but when I look at a piece, I see not only the patterns that are on the piece itself, but also the layers of history of personally gathering the pigments, but also like the history of the land, the geology, the communities that have walked those different soils for a very, very long time.
I remember my paternal grandmother doing a dye bath, which I didn't know anything about dyeing. Maybe I was 14 years old. And she was outside in the hot sun with an open fire. And there was a big bowl that she was cooking something. It was a big container cooking something. There was steam coming up, and she went outside and took a big stick and started stirring the pot. And when she pulled out this strand, it was this beautiful golden ochre color that I was just amazed, and I thought she had magic hands. I've always called her magic hands from then on. And I didn't understand what she was doing then, but it just put a big impression, in my mind that I wanted to find out how she did this, or why is she doing this. And I realized, I learned that she was a weaver too, and she dyed all her own yarn. And I became very fascinated, and I started asking different people questions, and it's not just only about the plants itself for dyeing. In my culture, almost all the plants are medicinal too. We use it in our ceremonies. We use it for curing a headache, or to cure a sore, or different things like that.